I need a charger.
It's right behind you. Right there on the floor, behind you.
I'll have to arrange this.
Yeah, bring it up a little bit.
It's not out of reach also.
Hello, everybody. We're just getting things settled up,
It's not gonna reach.
settled in here. Just move it over there. You don't need to move the camera. This is long enough. Sorry, guys. We're setting this up, and we're gonna start sharing the video out and get some word out. Go ahead and bring it up just a tad.
Rotate it up?
No, just, yeah, right there. No, it's too high. Right about there is fine. It's kind of crooked. Yo. We're just gonna share this out to some people and give you some update about a few things. Are you sharing it on Blacklist page? Let me know if that looks crooked to you guys.
You guys excited about the Gloomhaven expansion?
Looks pretty crooked.
It does look like it's. I'm looking right here. It doesn't look that noticeable. I mean, I don't
Does it
even.
look crooked to you? It looks a little crooked. I don't know why, but
Is that better?
now it even looks more crooked. It's weird. Yeah, it's fine. Whatever. Now it looks crooked, he says. Sorry, Kit. I'm trying to. Yeah, it does look crooked. Okay. Well, you guys can still hear us and see us, and we need to get a better studio setup anyway. So we are in the process of looking through tons and tons of Aftershock cards. This is one packet of probably like 20. Treasure chest is too big. Roll off the bookshelf. Anyway, sorry, just going through some other updates to the Blacklist. We have all the printed materials, like the cards and the dividers and stuff like that. We don't have the box labels or the punch
Can you
board.
post this anywhere, by the way?
I just shared it to my personal thing. You can share it to the Blacklist page. And we also have this nice little compendium sample. It's just pretty much it's a wrap book. It's got some decent binding, but it's kind of just showing off the printing of the page. Keeps buffering. Oh, cool. Well, some of you guys can see this. Hopefully, maybe it's just internet connection for some people. That hopefully it's not my internet connection. My internet's usually pretty good, but we put an update out to the Aftershock backers. Hopefully some of them see it in time. If not, they can come check this out later. But we got printer samples from the printer. We kind of wanted to proof all the cards. We've gone through about all the core game material, and we're moving on to stretch goals, stuff like that. We thought we'd hop on here in our regularly scheduled live stream to just chat about this, show off some samples, mainly show off the compendium so people can see that. We also have a sample neoprene mat that we're looking at, fighter mat, which is pretty nice. Ooh, it smells weird though. very strange.
It smells beautiful, right? I can't smell. I'm clogged up, but all right. I put that on the Blacklist page.
Yeah, and also we're going to answer questions. We officially announced the launch date for Alter Quest, which is going to be May 28th. So that's like the day before our birthday. So hopefully we have a nice birthday present with a fully funded Kickstarter. Be awesome. But we're super excited about that. We can also answer questions you might have about Alter Quest. Answer questions about Brook City's shipping right now. We can answer questions about Aftershock doing proofing, and that's going to be going full speed printing soon once we approve these files. So that's exciting because that's looking through this content. There's a ton of stuff in Aftershock. There's so many cards. Luckily, they've been edited before, but now we're just making sure everything printing looks right. The cards are backed up properly. We gotta. This right here is. Let's see here. Oh, I got a couple bundles here. But to give you an example, this is the Twin Tiger expansion right here, and this is just tons and tons of printed cards collated to about 18 cards per sheet.
I'm missing all these. I don't know if you have the questions loaded up, but
I don't think there's any questions yet.
Okay.
Any idea if Alter Quest will keep the solid bases from Brook City? I think my favorite part. That is something we're definitely looking at. We sent pictures to. We use the different factory for Brook City than for Street Masters, but we're sending pictures to the factory of the Brook City bases because people have said they like them a lot, and they're pretty nice. So we're gonna send those over just so they can use those and as guidance going forward. So hopefully we can match that. Yes, we will upload. This will when this is done. When the video is done live, it'll be archived so people can watch it later. Yeah, mine's buffering too, so I'm not sure. Are you on the internet? Or are you on Wi-Fi? Or are you on the?
It's on Wi-Fi.
On data.
I turned off my. I put it on Do Not Disturb so I wouldn't get any pop-ups. So I don't think I would have anything to do with it.
Okay, cool. So yeah, we're looking through all these cards. Tons of cards to look through. So far, we've only caught
this. We had somebody asked about these. We're still getting notes on these, but these are the fighter playmats, which you notice have stitched edging, which is pretty cool. It's like a little bonus we didn't expect. So anybody who got these cool fighter playmats, they feel awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait to play with those things.
They're really useful. There's spots for you have your cards, your fighter cards, your discard pile, your tokens. You have your defense tokens, your power, your damage,
turn card.
You have the spots for the new activation tokens, so you can track what you've done on your turn. Like, oh, I've played a card, or I've moved, or I've done my action. And then there's the threat area,
additional tokens where you can put like
because some fighters will have
damage, but
some fighters will have resources they spend like differently. So there's your additional tokens or objective tokens you're carrying. Your play area, a little spot down here for loot below your deck, below your mat. So these are really awesome. Pretty happy with them. I just want to show that off.
Yeah, if you pick those up, I think you'll be very pleased. It'll make your play area so much more organized. We should have more of our games. The only problem is that games like Brook City take up a lot of table space already, so that might be hard to fit those in that kind of game.
One minor thing too, if anybody is checking out Street Masters for the first time, the errata pack. Actually, yeah, if you're new pledgers or people who got the errata pack, the rulebook is expanded. It's got some stuff we've put in there to make more clarifications. The quality, it's much thicker paper, which is awesome. The other rulebook was nice. It was nice to flip through and everything, but I like durable, like a lot more sturdy pages. So this came out fantastic. And then we have all the stretch goals or the Aftershock expansion rulebook. All the new rules in there. We have the rule sheets for the stretch goals, Essence of Evil expansion, the Redemption, which is a small box expansion, so it'll be folded up like this, but nice rule sheets, have all the contents and everything in there.
And then we also have this bad boy here. There's just a post note of some comments we had for it, but anybody who backed this, here, do you want to put this somewhere else?
That's important, yeah, put that there.
So here's the Street Masters Compendium. This is basically like a lore, art, strategy guide book for everything released for Street Masters up to this point. So there's a lot of stuff in here. You can see the book is a pretty good sized book. It's kind of what you'd see as a like a role-playing supplement book. Pretty big, nice quality. We have, you know, I'll show some spreads, but there's a lot of stuff here. Got a table of contents, credits page. This one is, the writing was Scotty. Scotty did the bulk of the work on this book.
Lots of compiling to do on that one.
There's a nice little forward. You'll see a huge chunk of forward here written by Brady, and then a little one by me, because I would just be repeating a lot of what he said. So it looks like I don't have much to say, but it's mainly because Brady likes to write for me. And then there's a little introduction about what you'll find in this book, what this game's about. And then it goes right into the fighters. And then the first fighters, the best fighters first, obviously, is Axel. Nice little piece of art, so you get, like, anybody who paints miniatures will get a nice full picture of the character with some card art sprinkled in, a little tip about playing as Axel, you know, his complexity rating, and then some nice story about him. So every fighter will get this treatment. So you'll see the next fighter on the list is Brandon. If anybody has a favorite fighter they want to see, you know, spread photo, I can show them. Just reading some of the comments here. Does that have larger pictures of some of the character art in the rule book? Yes, comment on that. So, for example, you know, here's one of the new fighters from the Aftershock stretch goals, is one of the Renegade Reptiles. You get a nice full picture of him. Yeah, Chan Chan is there. Sorry, I passed up Chan Chan. There's Chan Chan. And that is a favorite. Let me know if anybody asks for anybody specific while I'm looking through this. I'll show off things that catch my eye. So many fighters in this game. There's a nice piece from Jack flying through the air.
So glad I picked up Compendium. Me too. I'm glad you picked it up. That's awesome. Was the errata pack an add-on? I believe the basic pledge level.
There's Lita.
They said is the they were asking if the errata pack is an add-on. I think in the basic pledge level.
No, the basic pledge level included the errata pack. It's also like, I think it was if you pledged $1 or something, you could get just the errata pack.
And if you're just getting the reprinted stuff, it's already included anyway.
The errata is going to be implemented into all the new stuff. So it was a pain to go through the production side of that, because we have like 3 things to worry about. You know, the new stuff plus the reprint, and then the stuff just the errata pack. So the errata compendium has everything. Yes, it has. I'll show some enemies too. All the fighters. So I'm going through all the fighters here. Give a little shout out to Mickey Scott here, based off of the guy who put this book together. I like that piece of art of him, by the way. He's a metalhead guy. Let's see what else we got. Murphy, Natalia, Raven, Renee. It was one of the new cops, Renee, based off somebody I know. And then there's the other part of the Twin Tigers, the lesser part, right? He's not even paying attention.
I'm
Tiger,
catching up on the
Veda,
other ones.
Wicked, Wildfire, Yunhua. There we go. Now we're over here to the enemies. Nice little art spread there. Oh, show Lita and Murphy. I think I showed Lita. Let me show you Murphy.
Lita's spread is good.
Yeah, I'll do that again. There's Lita. And Murphy, mostly, you know, his Murphy side, not his Jander side. Somebody retracted a message. Count for the number of minis available for the Kickstarter pledge. I think it's on the Kickstarter page. There's a count of miniatures, and it's a lot. So we have to go back to the enemies here. So this is what an enemy spread will look like. This is one of the new ones. This is the Abandoned, Project X and her minions. You'll see there's a nice picture of the villain or the boss itself with their minions, and each minion gets a little blurb, and there's a story behind them, a complexity rating, and then also like how to play that enemy deck. Yes. Will Alter Quest be capped at the 4-player count? Yes, it will. We cap our games at 4-player mainly because of playtime and table space and like all these factors about how the game feels pretty much at the ceiling of 4-player. So people can house rule 5 players probably pretty easily. But the game it'll probably get a little out of control.
Yeah, the game will naturally scale that high, but it's a matter of just space, time, components, because we pack a lot in these games, and it's safer to pack enough in there for 4 players. We don't want to say, oh, this is a 5-player game, but 5 people sit down to play, and it's taking forever between turns, and there's not enough components to go around. Oh, we're running out of damage, we don't have enough dice, so we just try to cap it at 4. We are exploring some of our other designs, like quicker playing games that go up to 5-6 players, but we just like we don't want to encroach in all the cool, interesting choices you have in the game and all the interacting effects. We want to keep that there in these designs, and it's just better to cap that from 1 to 4 players. It's more of a comfort area.
And also, we scale the game from solo to 4 players, so it's basically playtesting each player count. And then adding another player count is a lot more development time, playtesting and components and all that stuff to factor in as well. So we kind of put it up to 4 as the max because that's kind of what we want to make sure we deliver a quality product at those player counts. Will the big box have the same art as the campaign page? I forget what art. Don't need that right now. I forget what art the campaign page had. The Aftershock Kickstarter, but I know that we have. I don't know if it should feature the big spreads of art we got later. But I have to look at the Kickstarter page because I think that the Aftershock box.
Oh.
You can pull it up real quick on your.
So no, you're asking. They're talking about the deluxe box having the art on there.
I forget what art we showed on the Kickstarter page.
No, the Aftershock, the cover Aftershock box will have similar art on the front, but the sides will be different pieces. We have some pieces. I think we showed some.
Did we not show that on the Kickstarter page?
I don't think we showed because we didn't have.
I think that was still being worked on.
We had a lot of different spreads going. I need a Street Masters CCG. That'd be fun. That'd be
after the enemy spreads. We have all the allies and rivals featured in here, and the way that those spreads look is basically just a nice full piece of their art with a story about all of them. Anybody who's not, for example, if there's a rival ally version of a fighter, they're not repeated in here. This is just people that are just rivals and allies.
So,
and then we have every single stage gets their own spread as well. So if you ever want to see a particular stage, you can shout them out, but I'll show you an example here of, these are all the Rave and Ashes of the Eternal. The way the stages work is there's just a little blurb here about what the stage is about. There's a complexity rating, and then there's just big art from the stage cards just to show you what that stage is all about.
When he comes over, does Isaac Childress keep hiding your dice when you're not looking?
We don't let him touch our dice.
He's honestly like, and this is something we try to explain to other reviewers and people who just don't like dice typically. Where like we always say, well, this is not your typical, just roll and see what happens and then cross your fingers. Like our dice, we like to have a lot of decisions in there, a lot of resource management with what your dice provide and what you want to risk on it. So. Honestly, he didn't have much to say about the dice. I mean, he seemed to enjoy it. So I know people say they hate dice because it's putting a lot of luck into your choices. We try to remove as much of that luck as possible.
Love the sword solution. Are we doing another one for Brook City? We could.
It all depends on how that goes, like how it's received.
They mean just a sword solution video, I think.
Oh, I thought you meant like the deluxe box.
The video you showed of how you store.
Yeah, I can show. I have actually just made a little token box for my Brook City tokens, and I can show you my I've got everything reduced down to 2 boxes. I could probably even closely fit all of it into 1 box the way I have it right now, but it's comfortably in 2.
Out of the 3 Blacklist games, which one is the most thinky? I'd probably say Street Masters right now.
I'd say Street Masters has a lot more granularity in that regard. Brook City is more kind of movement optimization, resource management. There's a lot of attrition in Street Masters, so the granularity is important. And there's more fluidity in Alter Quest, I would say. So I think Street Masters is probably the most crunchy.
3D elements in Alter Quest, will they be add-ons or part of the core box? In the core game, there are going to be feature miniatures, so all the scenery and stuff like that is going to be in the core box. There also may be some add-ons for more, but and stretch goals for sure.
I'd like to see the Real Terror stage.
Yeah, I'll pull that up then.
I love that you guys include a complexity rating for the maps and the community. Yeah, well, it's something that's been highly requested. The reason, I think we've talked about it before, but the reason it wasn't included in the base game is because we wanted to allow for that like kind of natural exploration, so you can kind of explore the decks in different combinations and see which ones you like, instead of saying, hey, play it in this order. But it is a cool option to have there for people who prefer to research ahead of time and say, okay, I want to do this one because it's complexity 4.
Have you tried Too Many Bones?
I haven't played that yet. I've watched it played. I hear a lot of good things about it, but I haven't had a chance to. I don't have a copy, and I haven't had a chance to play anybody else's copy. But it does look pretty cool.
We can just name it the Sadler Dice System.
Yeah.
SDS. So this is the art gallery. This is just the intro page, and the art gallery basically takes all the products. For example, the core game here. There's the nice core cover, and then it just pulls out some cool art showcasing that you might not see when they're small on the cards. But there's a lot of art in this book. Is
there a druid character in Alter Quest? There's actually there's actually a lot of characters in Alter Quest, but
hopefully we can unlock everything we want in the stretch goals. That's cool.
Okay, I'm actually already not picking up the compendium. Hopefully you unlock the pledge manager before final shipping. Yeah, the compendium is something we actually
we will do whatever we can to make it available as much as possible.
Because we were surprised with how well it's coming out. Also, I mean, we had a lot of plans for it, but honestly, it was kind of like a lot of it was wishful thinking of what we could do. But as we started putting it all together, and then Scotty really drove that product home, and our graphic designer Justin really made it work. So yeah, it turned out really awesome.
And this is also after the art gallery. We have the rule book for Street Masters.
Did you see
in the?
Did you see if this was in there while you're checking?
Oh,
page 14.
What page is that?
Be a good thing to compare to. We had a printing snafu on one of the page 14.
The rules are just basically reprinted. The updated rule book. So you have it here if you're out with your art book somewhere and you're reading up on Street Masters, you can always reference the rules. In addition, after the rule book, there is another little treat. There's the Aftershock rule book right there in the back. So those are all in the compendium. It's nice book. Good price. You get a lot of stuff for that book. I'm actually excited about getting my copy. I wish we would have had that to show during the Kickstarter because I think a lot of people would like to know what they were buying.
Yeah, but it's a good thing that we'll have, even if it's a limited run. If there's enough demand for it, we'll be able to make it available. In future Kickstarters, we can have it as like a just a kind of optional buy, and that'll determine how much we can print on it. But it's a cool product, and glad we did it.
So I mentioned this at the start of the chat as well. That yesterday we announced the launch date of the Alter Quest Kickstarter, which is May 28th. Hopefully everybody can be there. We'll probably do one of these live streams. It is on a Tuesday. Actually, it's around the same time as I think we're going to launch around the same time as one of our live streams. So we'll probably do a live stream while it's launching, so we can chat with everybody. Anybody who backs it and doesn't know much about it can hop on the live stream and ask us questions, and hopefully we can celebrate early funding. But I think that's probably what we're going to do, assuming we have everything under control on our end. We have some other hands on deck with Blacklist to help with the launch day prep. Our graphic designer might be busy. We'll see. What else? Brook City is still going through fulfillment. We've had numerous calls to Black Box figuring out when with some updates to see where international shipping is, and they keep reassuring us that okay, well by the end of the week we'll see movement. So hopefully that's the case. I know they've been backed up. There's a big queue. I think the fact that our stuff came in early threw off their schedule, and they couldn't move us up. But we're hoping that stuff moves along this week. We're really anxious to get everybody their game. We do not enjoy the wait for anybody not getting it.
Just want to say, got Brook City, absolutely love it. Awesome, glad you love it. Super, can't wait to get my copy of Street Masters. I can't wait either. And definitely be backing Alter Quest. I appreciate it. Yeah,
Thank you. I'm glad. Really hope you get a lot of fun out of Brook City. I still enjoy that one.
The pledge manager close. Yes. I'm assuming this is for Street Masters, right? I backed everything from Brook City, but only $1 on this. Brook City was first of your games I bought. Did I miss this completely?
I'm pretty sure the the pledge manager is closed, but feel free to reach out to I don't know if it's I think it's info at Blacklist.
Or just Blacklist Facebook page.
Yeah,
right?
just reach out to Blacklist, see if there's any chance to get in on it. But if not, we are hopefully gonna make all that stuff available. You know, like definitely at Gen Con. You know, you'll be able to grab it. But
Can't say that yet. Cause
well, I don't know if it's going to be there. But I'm just saying if it was out by Gen Con, we could sell it.
If we had any games that were available to people, backers, to Kickstarter backers, we would have them at Gen Con as well. So,
mentioned that Compendium resembles an RPG book. What tabletop RPG system would you recommend for a home Street Masters campaign?
Fate.
I guess Fate.
I haven't played it, but Fate's pretty flexible.
I don't know. Maybe you could do some kind of cool role playing system with the dice in the Street Masters box, like the fighting enemy dice. Would be kind of cool.
Yeah, there's some flexibility with how the defense tokens work and dealing damage with the dice and everything, and I bet there's a pretty cool system you can develop.
Shipping on time for October. I'm not. I've learned my lesson that we're not going to say anything about shipping because it's so out of our hands. But all I can tell you right now is we are ahead of schedule as far as what we planned for getting things to the printer. So you know we're doing well. We're on our schedule. Hopefully everything, there's no hiccups and things go, you know, once we approve these, it'll go into the mass production. But that's the problem is that so much is out of our hands after we're hands off. We just have to hope that people, you know, everything falls into place. You know, there's a lot of moving parts. But it's looking good.
Have you tried Fire Team Zero? I actually had a copy of that. It was pretty cool. I like the concept of it. I love the setting. I love the deck-driven aspect of it. Oh, did I?
Yeah. I just hope you release the new Brook City game Kickstarter. If Brook City does well, is received well, we're definitely interested in doing more stuff for it because we want more stuff for it. So.
Yeah, the Fire Team Zero was pretty cool. I just don't have that copy anymore. I forget what happened to that one, but it was neat. I liked it. As far as I understand, Alter Quest uses cards and dice. Can you talk more about how these will work in the game? There's a lot of videos out there for both Street Masters and Brook City. That would give you a very good general idea for kind of a foundation of how Alter Quest is going to work.
And also Blacklist's website, blacklistllc.com. They have all the updates for Alter Quest, so you can read through how the cards work in that. And we're going to continue to talk about it. So follow Blacklist, sign for a newsletter. There's tons of information out there already about how they work in Alter Quest.
View production samples to show the minis Kickstarter. So
that is going to be going from Blacklist.
The
Kickstarter updates. They've been getting things and giving
what
feedback.
we've seen is awesome. Like, the miniatures are coming in looking great. So
they have to make sure that all their feedback is implemented and the miniatures are final before they show anything because they don't want to have in process things shown and giving people the wrong idea. And plus, Brady and I like to leak things, so they don't want us to show off stuff that's not done yet. Yeah, Blacklist LLC, blacklistgamesllc.com, and be sure to sign up for the newsletter there because that's the best way to find out when, like for example, when Brook City's fulfillment is done and we put stuff for sale on the website, they'll send out a newsletter saying, hey, come grab Brook City while you can. I will say that when Street Masters stock went up on sale on the website, it sold out, I think, within the first week. So having subscribed to the newsletter gets you a little chance to make sure you snag that before that happens. Hopefully the Alter Quest Kickstarter will do better than our previous Kickstarters to allow us to do a bigger print run, because one of the most common things we see like on social media and things are people, like for example Brook City is now shipping and we just see people saying they can't believe they missed out on that, and we thought we were spamming it like crazy just to make sure nobody missed out.
Yeah, I actually get people telling me to stop posting about it or like kind of making jokes about shilling our games, and it's like, well, I'm just trying to make sure people are aware of it because we hear a lot of people like regretting not backing it. It's like we have to do a lot of our own kind of marketing footwork.
We
small companies.
We just genuinely don't want people to miss out on something they might like, and we make games that we want to play. They're things that we feel like are lacking in the market, and I think that a lot of other people would like it too.
Yeah, that's something I always want to talk about too, because I'm a solo gamer, and I'm pretty active in like the solo board gamers Facebook group and stuff, and I just see a lot of discussions about people wanting certain types of games, and I'm always like, yeah, you guys, I mean, that's what we're designing for, is that kind of stuff. So I always want to just hop in there and say you should try this because it's where we're making this kind of stuff because I'm looking for the same kind of things, and I just don't want to come off as, hey, we designed a game, come buy it. But I genuinely think people would enjoy it, so we try to post what we can. Will you guys be at BGG Spring next month? No, unfortunately, that's next month is. If that's in May, obviously we'll be pretty tied up. June, though, is going to be pretty rough. I'm going to miss Origins because I'll be on vacation with the family. So I think our next convention is going to be Gen Con. Have you guys tried out the Warhammer Blackstone Fortress Dungeon Crawl game? I just picked it up but haven't played it. I mean, I don't like to get critical, but I did not like that game at all.
Yeah, I wanted to like it a lot. I was a big fan of Warhammer Quest back in the day, the old early version, and then they did Silver Tower and Shadows of Hammer. I get them all, but they did some cool things I liked. You know, the dice system having actions, stuff like that. But one thing I don't like about the game is as you get wounded, you get less actions. That to me is never appealing. Like it's not interesting that when you get wounded, you're worse. You're worse off. You keep getting worse. That's not interesting to me. And unfortunately, that's a big part of the game for Blackstone Fortress. And it's also Blackstone Fortress. A lot of people like it, but it's not really for me. Our game group kind of fell flat. They have combats and then they have encounters, and the encounters are kind of like lighthearted, like party game things that
they're gimmicky.
Yeah,
and I get what they're trying to do with them, but they don't feel
they take you out of the game.
They don't feel meaningful, really. Like the decision you're making, it's more just going through some kind of motions.
I do really like in Blackstone Fortress. I really like the campaign system they did, where they have these cards that come out that every time you do an expedition, if you go back to Precipice, you draw a legacy card, and like this basically is like a timer for you. This is how much time you have to complete these 4 strongholds, and then go to the Blackstone Fortress. I forget what it's called, like the vault or whatever. I forget. But I like that whole, like, you're going to these expeditions to get clues, and then if you have enough clues, you can go attack a stronghold, and you have to do all this within a time limit. I like that simple mechanic, simple campaign structure. It's really cool. Unfortunately, the individual play sessions fell flat for me.
So any info on expansions for Heroes of Turn-Off? We actually kind of went in depth with that with the last podcast we were on. We joined up with the One Stop Co-op Shop cast. One Stop Co-op cast, but it's just something we have zero control over.
Essentially, all we can say is we are basically the only information we can give is the information that FFG would put on their website. Like
you would
know before we would tell you if there's,
because we don't get on, like, we aren't privy to what goes on beyond the doors at FFG. We don't go to the offices there unless we're working on an active project. And if we were to be involved with an expansion, we would be invited to. But it wouldn't serve us to design an expansion and sit on it, because we have other projects going on right now, so it has to fit into our queue. So if Asmodee decides to expand it, which my personal opinion is it's going to get expanded. I think it's pretty much a given. It's going to get expansions. It's just a matter of when, because of their busy schedule and everything. But we just have very little say in it. We can ask about it, whenever we meet up with them. I think we are supposed to meet up with
them. But even
them.
if we do, we couldn't say anything. So.
Yeah, it wouldn't be like something we would be able to advertise. But we just have a strong feeling it's going to get expanded. It's a good selling game. That's the game that was like in a huge, like, it was like 4 years late or something. It was in a huge box. I don't think it would appeal to me personally. It looks neat. It looks like it has a certain audience that would love it. Honestly, it's weird how, we're doing Alter Quest, which is kind of our ideal fantasy dungeon game, but most fantasy games I like are more just card-based games, like light card games. I don't play a whole lot of like the big sprawling dungeon crawls and campaign-based stuff, and I think that's a campaign-based game. That's instantly kind of something that's a little bit of a turnout for me. So, but it looks impressive on the table. I've seen some unboxings of it. Are neoprene mats coming for Alter Quest? That's a possibility. The difference with
the most likely thing for Alter Quest would be something like Brook City would be a board play mat, not like a player.
Yeah, because these are awesome for Street Masters, because Street Masters has a kind of a small footprint as far as like the board. It has a small tile, so you have a lot of room for these. But if you had these for either Brook City or Alter Quest, it would really make the table space much more difficult to do, much more unwieldy. but we do have other playmats in mind. So
So you're a solo gamer. Do you play Gloomhaven solo?
no,
I don't
no.
think I ever would.
I do like. I always say I like Gloomhaven from a design standpoint. Isaac's brilliant designer, and the content he came up with is very staggering. It's I'm in awe of that. But I don't play it very often, even multiplayer. But I probably would never play it solo. I've seen the solo scenarios designed. I typically don't like games that have special requirements to play solo, where you have to play either this certain guy at this certain level, with these certain guidelines. I'd rather just play a game that you just play normally. You can happen to play it one player or two player or whatever. So I know people love it, but it's not my ideal solo game at all now.
I have trouble with this one. When have you the idea to make playmats with custom token to represent what you have played? I think that might have something to do with this.
So the expansion, Aftershock expansion, comes with these tokens, which are just tracking which things.
It's for the simultaneous play, but also anybody who plays the game might find it useful to just mark which.
Because if you have if you're playing a complex character and you have a lot of steps you're doing, where it's like, did I play a card this turn? Did I move? You can track that with these tokens, and they're just pretty handy to have.
I went all in on Brook City, and it's a lot of content that will keep me busy for a while. Do you plan on making more expansions, or no, since it was a lot off the bat? We definitely plan on making more expansions. That one, we kind of actually held off a little bit on content because we didn't want to go too far into it like we did with Street Masters, even though there is a lot of content. But we definitely do want to do, one of the biggest things we want to do is the cases. We want more cases, different kinds of cases, different formats for cases, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, we honestly try to keep it kind of straightforward a little bit in the first wave because it was, it's a new product and everything. But there's a lot more that we want to do with cases, more narrative stuff. So if we do expansions, it's going to be much more concise, much more focused expansion content. So it's not going to be just like, here's 20 more cops and 20 more case decks. We'll be a little more conservative with that approach, but we do have a lot more we want to do with the game.
Good morning, Marion. She wants to know if we have anything ready for Alter Quest at Gen Con of all the games you've designed so far. This is the one I'm totally desperate to get my hands on. The one thing we know we'll have at Gen Con is at least the demo kit. We'll bring it with us to Gen Con to demo. We're not sure what else we'll have by that point, but we'll see how the Kickstarter does and all that stuff.
For this next question, do you have that printout? Yeah, I can show that printout. Just off encounter.
How do the encounters work in Alter Quest? Does every fight go on a different map or something like the new Lord of the Rings?
So here's this. We just playtested one yesterday actually and kind of show you.
So if you're familiar with Street Masters, it's going to be similar to that.
So this is actually not to scale, it's a little smaller, but it'll be like an 11 by 11 tile, which is like Street Masters. So it'll have, the art of what it is. It'll be double-sided with an encounter each side. It'll have, this one right here is the camp ambush. So you see a campfire in the middle. There's tree trunks over here. There's threat spaces. So and it'll have a deck associated to it, a 15 card deck for each encounter. And it's very similar to how Street Masters works, where you'll have an objective, the enemy's trying to do something. In this one, you have a fire. You're trying to keep the fire lit because it's at nighttime. Enemies are pouring out from the shadows trying to ambush you. If your fire dies out, you're overwhelmed and you lose. So you have to flee the camp. But if you manage to keep the fire lit long enough and you draw the villain out and defeat him, you win. So
it plays quicker than the quest.
Playtested in like what, half an hour? 40 minutes.
45. We were
testing, we were talking about it and stuff, but it's pretty quick. So it's going to work a lot like Street Masters, and that's the idea behind it, because we love the dungeon crawling exploration thing, but I have this special place in my heart for Street Masters, and I love that play style, so I want to be able to like kind of have the best of both worlds in that. So I'm getting some lag right now on my end.
I know it's quite early with the latest expansion still being worked on. Not worked on anymore. But are there any plans for further Street Masters expansions? I know Brady wants to, but
ideally, much more. Like we talked about this before. This is something we haven't like greenlit yet because we're still obviously pretty busy with stuff. But we'd love to do kind of like some small box 2-player standalone sets, which are like, it's new content, but it's kind of an entry point for somebody who wants to check out the game. So, and that'd be something we get in the mass market, like the Barnes Noble and Target and stuff like that. But
here's the one thing about the game is the fact that the Kickstarter, the Aftershock Kickstarter did really well, but still the backer number wasn't as much as like a lot of other bigger games. So if it gets out there and people start wanting more of it, and getting it retail and stuff like that, all the stretch goals from Aftershock are basically like pieced out expansions. Like you'll see the theme of them. Like for example, the Davenport Manor has this themed enemy group with some stages and a fighter. They would make a perfect like Street Masters expansion that hasn't even been made yet. Like those expansions could be made and sold separately, as people that couldn't get the stretch goals. So there's a lot of expansions there.
And following that product model,
Yeah.
it's like new content could be revealed also. But the whole like 2-player starter set standalone thing would be great because you get like a full game, rules, dice, tokens. You get 2 new fighters or 2 new stages and a new enemy deck or something. But it'd be packaged well, in a smaller package where it's affordable entry point for new players, but experienced players would want them as well just to have the new content. So that's another idea we'll have to expand it with.
Also, can you tell us about the survival horror game idea you've mentioned in the past? We're not going to talk about that yet, mainly because we don't want to get ahead of ourselves when we get
Lock
there's
ourselves
altar quests like that. But we have lots of ideas for survival horror. That's close to the top of the list of what we want to do next. We'll see.
I think we should say regardless. I think our next game, like whatever it is, like if it's survival horror, if it whatever, that's one at the top of the list. But it's going to be a more focused game. It'll be a smaller footprint game, kind of similar to Street Masters, where it's not going to be a huge board. It's going to be more.
I think Altar Quest might be the last one we do for a while. It's a big board.
Yeah, because we just as a preference thing, we kind of prefer the model like Street Masters, like this.
The table footprint for Street Masters is perfect.
Yeah. So we want to kind of get back to that, and just kind of do more stuff that's even more modular from a physical standpoint. So like every time you play, it's kind of this different physical experience. So that's kind of our direction for the next game. But we have another game that we haven't announced yet that's actually in the works. That's why we can't really get too much into the next projects. We already have another one on top of Altar Quest that's still awaiting announcement. So,
what's your stance on Euro worker placement engine building games? Any favorites?
Which
I
one
like
was it?
Orleans. It's fun. I like that one.
Which question is this?
That's
what's your stance on Euro? Oh yeah, I love Euro games. Orleans is awesome. I loved Viticulture. I'm kind of like back and forth on Scythe. I've played a lot of Scythe because I have a game group that loves it. Are you yawning because of Scythe or?
I think it just triggered it. I don't know. I've never played the Scythe, but I just
so stuff like that.
Euro games are rough on me sometimes. So.
But I kind of consider. No, that's not really Euro. But yeah, there are some Euros I like. There's some times where I really crave Euros.
Any plans for a space or battle mech themed game? So the battle mech thing, we have an idea for something that's like mech related. That's more grittier than battle mech. But
when we say mech though, it's more like just kind of like
suits of armor,
urban fantasy vehicular combat type thing. It's more like Saturday morning cartoons like Mask or G.I. Joe, like just Exo Squad. Well, but Exo Squad's all walkers. It's like I want to like open that up to like Mask is a great model because Mask has like cars, boats, planes, but
to go back to the part of this question is space. I definitely would love to do like a Star Trek style game where you have you're on a ship with a crew and you go to planets, stuff like that. Like I would love to do that.
I would be so useless though. I'm like
he doesn't like the thing.
It's I like, but I like it enough. I feel useless in it because I don't really watch a lot of sci-fi.
I'm actually watching season 2 of The Orville right now, and that show. Anybody who likes Star Trek should be watching The Orville because it's such a good show. Like from the trailers, I didn't think I would like it at all. I thought it looked kind of goofy, but it's a really good show. Like it's really well done. And that just inspires me to do one someday.
Golden Axe Fire Camp Simulation, yeah, pretty much. That's what that.
How do you guys feel about Kingdom Death? We both backed that back in the day when it was first on Kickstarter. We got it. We played it twice maybe. The first time we played it was like, oh, this is exciting because we paint up our survivors and stuff.
I love the combat. I love the encounter stuff. I just didn't want the other stuff.
At first we liked it, but then like after that it was basically just random D10 rolls.
Well, yeah, not the actual mechanics. I just love the whole model of having this like deck.
Yeah, it's actually kind of
abilities and
kind of like what we want to do with Street Masters. Just like you pick a villain, you have this fight.
Because honestly, as much as I loved the thought of like this building up a civilization and like that settlement aspect, it was like just way too tedious for me. I just did not want to do it. I liked the idea of the boss fight, the boss rush thing, but I just didn't want to deal with all the other stuff, which is weird because I loved the idea of it. I just didn't want to mess with it. It was too much.
Basically, we both had it and we both sold it after a couple plays.
Made a bit of profit on it, no big deal.
I want to see Street Masters fighting bad guys on a moon base. We could do.
That'd be funny.
We could definitely do some kind of
a retro James Bond expansion.
I think maybe we'll have an alien expansion someday with Street Masters.
was able to pick up the expansions for Brook City. Will they be purchased?
Yes.
Yeah. So everything we have on the Kickstarter should be available for purchase
While supplies last.
Yeah.
That's the big issue. Is anything that's left over after fulfillment for the Kickstarter backers is done will be available for purchase from Blacklist website. That includes Kickstarter exclusive stuff. Like everything will be purchasable. However, we don't know how long it'll last. So it's not a huge print run. We wanna if it does well, we want to do a reprint, just like we did for Aftershock. So we'll see. But yes, it'll be available to purchase as supplies last.
Any plans on doing Street
License.
Masters in another language? I think there's some of that in the works, in discussions at least. I just don't know what the timeline on that.
It's
so.
tough because we're a small publisher. But as we are in talks to try to get more of Street Masters more into distribution, like mass distribution. And if that happens, maybe we'll open the doors to partners who want to do different language versions of it. Problem is, there's a lot of card text in Street Masters, so it's going to be a big translation project. I know that there were some volunteers to translate it for, I think, Spanish and French, stuff like that, but it's on a volunteer basis, so we can't promise any kind of deadline or any kind of movement at all. It's just basically when people have time to do it. But if we do it with partners who there's a contract involved, that's a different story. But we'll have to, see how successful we are with getting our games to more people and upping the interest in Blacklist games in general. Any plans to make more games in high fantasy style? It seems like given Lauren Guard. I think Alter Quest is going to be our setting.
I think we have other game ideas for that setting. It's just we don't want to have like a bunch of different fantasy settings, even though like there's a lot to explore there.
And if we did another game, it'd be a different style game, like maybe like a smaller card game or something, like just cards, no miniatures. But Alter Quest will be where all of anything that's MDS style will be a part of Alter Quest.
It's funny, this question comes up. Have you played? Oh no, this is a different one. Have you played Too Many Bones? Someone asked that earlier. I haven't played it personally. I watched it played, and I've seen enough about it where I think I might understand how it works and everything, but I just haven't played it personally. I don't have a copy. But yeah, I'd love to check it out sometime.
What's your favorite Street Master stretch goal that was not unlocked? That was Brady's food fight.
Oh yeah. So we had a character in Brook City that was, subtly inspired by Guy Fieri, but I wanted to do him as a fighter in Street Masters and have him fighting a bunch of like mutant food products. So that was on the list for like a high ranking stretch goal.
I think that was up there, but close to the $1 million stretch goal.
Yeah. If we got this kind of a lofty one, kind of a funny one, but. If there was a movie made about your lives, who would each of you cast as the role of you? This is
Mary
funny.
Kate and Ashley Olsen.
Yeah, this is funny because when I was younger, I was a server at TGI Fridays, and it happened more than like at least twice. Some girl like my age would write, or some lady of my age would write on a receipt, "Oh my God, you look just like Paul Rudd," or something. And one time it was like, "Oh my God, you look just like Ryan Reynolds." I don't see either of those really.
I don't get the Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah,
at all.
I think
I
Ryan
like
Reynolds.
I like Ryan Reynolds. I think Ryan Reynolds is awesome, but I don't see the resemblance.
Yeah. Like when I was in my 20s, like I was thinner, but like we started working at FFG in Minnesota. I was in my late 20s. I went to a coffee shop, and every time a different barista would say, "You look just like Ryan Reynolds." Oh my God! And that's when I think Green Lantern just came out or something, so he was kind of like popular. But I don't see that. So if I had to cast someone for myself, I think it would be Rowan Atkinson in his heyday, Mr. Bean.
What was that guy that played in Heroes? The guy with the Peter.
I think is that Vegetal Veg or something. His last name's like
He was
Milo.
in that Rocco movie.
I know it's Milo.
Yeah, that guy.
Ventel. I forget, but you think that highly of yourself? Is he
attractive?
He's a very pretty boy, man. He's a very pretty man.
He just I guess is the dark hair and beard or whatever. But
I think if I had to say honestly though, it'd probably be
Fred Savage.
a young Bruce Campbell. I think for both of us.
Our older brother looked exactly like Fred Savage when he was a kid.
Subtle.
Loki and Johnson. Which one's Loki? Because that's quite a compliment.
That's one of my favorite.
What's his name?
Tom Hiddleston.
Tom Hiddleston is right. Yeah, he's a handsome man.
That's America's ass.
I think that was pretty much the update of Street Masters.
Yeah, because I have a lot of stuff to
proof
read.
the rest of this stuff today. give the factory our notes. We have a few notes, but nothing major, luckily. I think the biggest note we have right now is just to remove a card from the errata pack, which is a good thing.
And even if it goes into the errata pack, we can just say, don't use that card.
Tear it up. That'll be a fun errata to say, hey, go tear this card up because you don't need it.
But it'd still be confusing, so we want to fix that. But
Yeah, this is the thing we want to avoid. The problem with being a small publisher is we have to do a lot of proofing ourselves, and proofing the stuff that you work on is tough because you know what it means, and it's good to get external people involved. Now we have Scotty and Mitch to help us proof stuff, so I think this Aftershock is going to be in a lot better shape than Street Masters was. Because we had so many errated cards we need to fix. But luckily, you guys get all the new versions. So if you back Street Masters Aftershock, you get to replace all those cards. So more Paul Gosselaar. I remember that guy. All right, cool. Well, we'll go back to proofing, and we'll see you guys next week. Hopefully, you guys are prepping for the Alter Quest Kickstarter in less than a month now. So we'll hopefully see you guys there as well. And yeah, we'll definitely plan a live stream for launch day, so you guys.
Yeah, anyone who likes solo games too. Van Ryder, our buddies over there, just launched their hostage negotiator career on Kickstarter.
That's an interesting question as we're wrapping up. What does Isaac Childress think of your game? He was actually here playing he's played both Street Masters and Alter Quest. He's actually played Street Masters, Brook City, and Alter Quest when it was in development because we had him stop by to check it out. He lives pretty close by.
And if you guys would have funded Brook City a little higher, we would have had a little Isaac Childress.
We had something planned for Isaac Childress as a guest designer box, but we'll save that for later. But when he came in to play Alter Quest, he said that he really enjoyed it. It's his favorite so far. He likes it better than Brook City, and he enjoyed Brook City. That's why he was going to help out with it. But yeah, he's excited about Alter Quest, and we got him to do some little guest designer thing for the Kickstarter. We'll looking forward to showing that to everybody.
Actually, there's a question too. Some guy just asked, will any of the stretch goals be included in the redemption box like the first Kickstarter? So that was actually part of the errata pack we fixed because those cards should have been duplicated because they were used in multiple products. But everything in the Wave 1 stretch goals and the Wave 2 stretch goals will be fixed, where anything that's stretch goal related is going to be in the stretch goal box and not mixed into the different products. But we've actually made multiple copies of the cards in the errata pack to fix that from previously. So good question.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks for stopping by, everybody. Thanks for the questions. Bring some more next week. Hopefully, it's not going to be as much funding as you'll need for our other ones. We're trying to keep it more reasonable this time, so we'll see how it does. Thanks again. You gotta stop it.